Okay, so there's going to be 3 different portions of this workout. We're going to do a cardio portion, which includes a Metcon, a strength portion, and then core at the end. So the warm-up is actually going to be 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. We're just going to try and get your heart rate up just a little bit and get your muscles warm. So I'm going to actually go through every movement before we actually get into the workout, just so you can see first what I'm doing, and then that way you can follow along with me throughout the actual workout portion. So if you don't have your shoes on already, make sure you've got your shoes tied up, your laces nice and tight. I like to work out in my shoes. I know if you're working out in your home, you might not want to wear your shoes, but maybe just wear a pair of indoor shoes. That way you have a little bit of more stable ankles and you can have support in your feet as you're doing the movements. So the first movement here is just jogging in place. All you're doing is little steps above the ground, lifting your feet off the ground and just moving your arms at the same time. The next one is high knees. If you don't want the impact, you can just lift your knee above your hip crease and just touch your hand at the top. After that, we're going to do lunges. So lunging out forward, knee stays over top of ankle, and then try and keep those 90-degree angles, so between the front and the back foot. So from the front, you can see that my knee isn't caving in or out. So just be conscious of where your knee is in relative to your ankle. After that, we're doing arm circles. So for 15 seconds, we're going to go forward, and then 15 seconds we'll go backwards. And I'll make sure I cue you on what the movement is there and what time we're moving at. After that, we're doing up downs. So a couple of key things here: hands, wrists, shoulders, all in line. You're stepping or jumping back into a plank position and then just bringing your legs back up. If you don't want the impact or you don't want to jump back, you can also step back. So this is a little bit lower impact. All right, so at the top, we're going to start with the jogging in place. 3, 2, 1, here we go. 30 seconds of work. It's just a warm-up, so we're just getting ready, getting our heart and lungs ready, getting our muscles ready, and just getting our heart rate up just a tiny bit. So this is your rest part. Shake it out, take a breather, get a drink of water. We got 30 seconds of rest here. So get ready to go. We're going to do those high knees. 3, 2, 1, let's go. High knees, whether you're getting your knee up towards your hand and lifting your foot off of the ground, or you're just doing a little step action, that's okay too. Just getting your knee above your hip crease to get your hips warm. All right, almost done. Keep it up. If you get too tired of the higher impact, you can always switch to the lower impact. And we're resting. Same thing here. Walk it out. Yell at your kids, whatever you want to do. We're just taking a rest, get a drink of water, ponder what life really means. And then we're going to go to our next portion, and that's our lunges. Let's go. "30 seconds of work here. Really focus on squeezing that glute, making sure your knee isn't caving in or out. Keep your hands up for balance. Chest stays up the whole time. Almost done. And rest. Next is our arm circles. We're going to get ready here, going forward for 15 seconds. All right, big arm circles, get those shoulders warm. Make sure you keep your core engaged here too. We don't need any kind of loose core or sagging backs. All right, now we're gonna go backwards. So big arm circles again, really getting those shoulders open and warm. Shake it out when you're done. This is our rest time, so you can just get a drink of water, walk around a little bit, shake it out, whatever you need to do. You get ready for the next part, which is going to be our up downs. So remember those few things that we had talked about before, making sure that you're picking a good variation for you, whether you're stepping back or jumping back, that's up to you. All right, here we go. So hands down to the ground, feet either jump or step back. You're bringing your butt all the way back up, and hips, shoulders, knees all should be aligned at the top. Standing straight up at the top. Again, here's the other variation. So we're stepping back into that plank and then stepping back up. And done. That is the warm-up. So for the next portion, you're gonna need your backpack, whether you want to put it on your back or maybe just hold it in the front of you on your chest, that's up to you. Feet are hip distance apart, knees are driving out on the way up, they're staying over top of your ankles. Hands come out in front of you for balance. Chest stays up the whole time. And as you can see there, my butt just drops down. Go as low as you're comfortable going. I'm going just below my knee, but if you want to go just above your knee, that's okay too. This is just a different variation. If you don't want to have the backpack on your back, you can do a deadlift. So basically you're just squatting down to pick up the weight and standing back up. If you don't want to do the backpack on your back or on your chest or picking it up off of the ground, you can just do body weight squats, and that's perfectly okay too. The next movement, you'll need your backpack, your weighted backpack, and we're actually going to pick it up off of the ground and put it overhead. So whether you curl it up and then press it up, that's up to you. I'm going to show you a couple different variations here. So I'm just picking it up to my hips, bringing it up to my shoulders, and pressing it overhead. Make sure that your butt is going down first in the squat, and then you're bringing it up to your shoulders and pressing through and pressing that weight right over top of your head. So being aware that you're not pressing it over your head and back behind your head. We don't have to go back that far. And then the final movement is up down. So we're doing 5 of these up downs, and we've seen these before. So shoulders, elbows, wrists all in line, and then you're just stepping or jumping back into a plank position and getting yourself back up. So we're doing 5 up downs. So just go over that workout one more time. It's a 12-minute AMRAP, which means we're doing as many rounds as possible. So I'm just going to repeat over and over these 3 movements. We're doing 10 squats, 10 ground to overheads, and 5 up downs. 3 different movements, and we keep repeating that over and over until the 12 minutes is up. So get your backpack ready on your back, and we're going to go with our 10 squats. Let's go. If you're moving at a different pace than I am, that's okay, as long as you keep moving and get through all your reps. As soon as you're done your 10 squats, you go right into your ground to overhead. So whether you've got that backpack, you're going to pick it up off of the ground and press it overhead. Just keep moving through all the movements and make sure you're doing proper movements, making sure that your butt goes down first before you decide to stand up. As you're pressing the backpack overhead, make sure your biceps are right close to your ears. You want to have your biceps right in line with your ears and pressing that backpack straight overhead. Once you're finished your ground to overhead, go right into your up downs. So we're doing 5 of these. Make sure they're good movements. Keep it up. I'm going into my second round right now. If you're not finished, keep going and moving through those movements at your own pace. I'm going straight into the 10 squats again. Following that, we're doing ground to overhead and then up downs. 10, 10, 5 the whole time. You can do it. Keep it up, keep moving, good movements, lots of breath. If you need to take a rest, please take a rest. Just keep moving. When you're done your ground to overheads, it's 5 up downs. When you're done your 5 up downs, you go right back into the squats. We're doing 10 squats, 10 ground to overhead, and 5 up downs. Keep repeating that until you're all done. Keep going, keep moving. You're doing a great job. Okay, we're about halfway, so if you've been going super hard and super fast, maybe you want to slow the pace down. And if you feel like you've got more energy in the tank, maybe you pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, we got 2 minutes left. So if you've got a lot of energy left in the tank, make sure you pick up the pace here. Maybe just for the last 2 rounds, 1 or 2 rounds that you're gonna get here, just pick up the pace a bit just to burn out those lungs, burn out those legs a little bit longer. You're almost done. You're doing a great job. Last couple of seconds here. Try and get a couple extra reps. You're almost done with this workout, and we're gonna go into the next portion. You'll get a little bit of rest in between, don't worry, and done. Good job. So while you're catching your breath here, I'm just gonna show you the next few movements. We're only doing a little bit of a strength portion, so I'm gonna show you a couple variations for push-ups. So as you can see, my toes are on the ground, my hands are underneath my shoulders. I'm dropping my chest down to the ground. My elbows are tight to my body. Here's a different variation if you'd like to try this one instead. So you're on your knees, but the same principles apply. And the last variation is an elevated push-up. So from an elevated surface, I stay in that plank position. Same principles apply. Chest is going down to the elevated surface, back is engaged and squeezed. And then after that movement, we are going to do split squats. So there's a couple different variations you can do. I'm going to start at the hardest variation. So this is with an elevated surface. One foot goes up on the elevated surface. The other foot is planted on the ground. Try and get your balance first. Glutes engaged, hands are up for balance. Your knee is over top of your ankle and your foot, and you're just dropping down into that squat position. And as you can see, my chest is up the whole time, making sure my core is engaged too. So if that variation doesn't fit you well, we're going to go to just a split squat, and I'm just dropping my knee down to the ground or just above the ground and allowing that front knee to shift forward over top of my foot. Same principles apply. Engage your glutes, and we're not going to have our knee cave in or out. So be conscious of where your knee is in relative to your ankle. And then our last movement is backpack rows. So you're going to use your backpack that you loaded up before. Whether you want to put more or less weight, it's up to you. We're just going to hinge forward. So butt goes back first. Feet hip distance apart, butt goes back first. I'm leaning over, and then I'm bringing my elbows up behind me, allowing that backpack to go down to full range of motion. So we'll just go over this workout one more time. We're doing 3 rounds of 10 push-ups. The modifications are there, knees or elevated, 10 split squats, and then 10 backpack rows. All right, so get yourself in position, move anything that you need to move. If you have to pause the video to get ready, go ahead and do that. But we're gonna get started with our 10 push-ups. And this is not timed, so please go at your own pace. Whatever you need to do to get through the rep range. If you need to do 5 push-ups, take a break and then do 5 more push-ups, that's okay too. This is not a timed workout, so just get through the work. We're doing 10 of each different movement for 3 rounds. Okay, I'm going right into my split squats. So I'm doing 10 reps total. So I'm doing 5 on the one side and then 5 on the other side. Again, this is a go at your own pace workout. So if you're not keeping up to me on the video, that's okay. Just pause the video if you need extra time. I'm going into my backpack rows now. So 10 backpack rows. Chest is over top of that weight, which is also over top of your feet. Butt goes back, slight bend in the knees, and we're just pulling our elbows back while our back is engaged in that big squeeze at the top. As soon as you're finished, if you want to take a break, I didn't take a break here. I don't know why. I take a break on the next one, but for this second round, I'm going straight into my push-ups. So I'm doing my 10 push-ups. If you're on your feet, your knees, or elevated, it's up to you. It's your workout. We're doing 10 of those. As soon as you're done those, take a little rest if you need, take a couple breaths, maybe a drink of water, and then go straight into your split squats. So I'm doing 5 on my right leg, and then 5 on the left leg, and keep moving through these movements. This is a strength portion, so we want good quality reps. It's not about being quick. And as you can see, I decided to take some rest this time, so a little bit of rest in between those split squats and the backpack rows. So here we go with the backpack rows again, feet hip distance apart. Chest is over top of the backpack, over top of my feet, and my head is in a neutral spine position. When you're finished that, if you want to adjust your hair, take a drink of water, maybe you have to tie your shoes, maybe you want to take your shoes off. Up to you. Take a little bit of rest. If you need about a minute or a minute and a half in between each set, that's up to you. It's your workout. All right, I'm into my last round now, so I'm doing 10 good quality push-ups here. And as you can see, I'm getting a little bit tired, so I'm taking them a little bit slower. After that, take a couple breaths, doing your split squats. Make sure your knee stays over top of your ankle. Doing good quality reps here, nice and slow if you want. It's up to you. Try a couple of different variations. If you want to try a couple elevated for this last round, try a couple elevated, and then when those get too hard, just go to the split squat variation on the ground. And then this is the last round of backpack rows. So whenever you're finished your last round, that's okay. It's not a race here, so just do whatever you got to do. If you have to pause the video to go ahead and do that. Okay, and that's the end of the strength portion. So we're going to go into the core workout. We're going to do 10 dead bugs and accumulate a 2-minute plank. Now it sounds like a long plank, but you're not doing it all in one shot. So I'll show you what that looks like. Now here I'm just showing you how to engage your core from this laying down position. So literally all I'm doing is bringing my hips towards my belly button in the slight pelvic tilt. Okay, so you're going to maintain that pelvic tilt. Low back is on the floor the whole time. Legs come up in the air in a 90-degree angle and wrists are right over top of your shoulders. I'm dropping my right arm with my left leg while the other side stays the same. Okay, a little bit of coordination here. So left leg, right arm, right leg, left arm. Dropping them down as low as you can go while still maintaining that low back position. So if your low back is coming off the ground and you're getting an arch in your low back, you're just going a little bit too low with that leg that's going towards the ground. So just decrease the range of motion and don't go as low, okay? Always maintain that low back flat on the ground the whole time. So I'm just showing you a couple of bad reps here where my core you can see my stomach rises up. That just means that my low back isn't flat on the ground. So that's your first movement. And then after that, we're going to go into our plank position. So elbows right underneath of your shoulders. Hands are spread out like as if you were palming a basketball on the ground. Okay, and they're straight up out in front of your wrists. My feet are nice and close together. Glutes are squeezed, core engaged. I still have that slight pelvic tilt. If you need to widen your stance with your feet, that's okay too. The wider you go, it's a little bit easier. So pick a variation that's easiest for you. And we're going to accumulate 2 minutes. So I'm going to keep holding that plank for as long as I can. When that's done, I stop the timer. Say I held it for 30 seconds. I'm going to take some rest and then go right back into it. Here's just a different variation if you want to try a different way to do a plank. So you can do the same thing just with your knees on the ground. And then I also show you a way to do the plank on an elevated surface too. So it's completely dependent on what you where you feel most comfortable. So here's a way that you can do it on an elevated surface and on your hands. And then if that's not a good variation for you, then you can also go on your elbows too. So same principles apply here. Shoulders are right above the elbows, and I'm just engaging my core, squeezing my glutes. So once you get to 2 minutes of a hold, then you're done your workout. All right, so let's go right into those dead bugs. So I'm going super slow right here. You don't really have to go that slow. It's up to you what you're comfortable with and how you are with your coordination. So just get through. So every time a hand goes down, that's a count, okay? So 1, then switch, 2, then switch, and we're counting up to 10. So just keep going until you get to your 10 reps, nice and slow and controlled movements, making sure that your low back isn't coming off the ground. Okay, when you're done your 10 dead bugs, you're gonna go into your plank. Just get a timer or maybe look at the clock or something so you can time how long you've held the plank for. So we're gonna hold again for as long as possible, and then you're gonna drop down whenever you need to for a rest, and then go right back into it. And I want you to get up to 2 whole minutes of a plank. And that is the end of the workout. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed. Good job.